We back.
We're here. We're back. I just got off a plane, literally, and I walked through my door maybe 17 minutes ago. So thank you, twins, for your patience. Thank you for waiting as I figure this out. Guys, I broke my tripod in Tulum, and so you're not seeing the usual background. We had to getify it right now, but it's here. We're working. Yeah, I'm back. I'm back in full effect. I'm back in Toronto. Yay.
How's the weather there?
Snowing. It was, well, it's not snowing right now. It is raining. Snow is coming. There was snow on the ground. So I knew when I kind of arrived because as I looked out the window of the plane, there was snow on the ground. But Tulum is amazing. Anybody who wants to go to Tulum, if you've never been to Tulum, hit me up. If you have questions, like I feel like my daughter and I were really with the locals. We did not stay in an all inclusive. We just stayed at a hotel downtown. We were taking the local transport, eating the local food. We did like one fancy restaurant on our last night. Thank you, Mr. Mister. I literally, if you heard me, I literally like got home like 17, 18 minutes ago, and I'm making this work. We are here to do the show because this is a great topic. But yes, if you want to go to Tulum, hit me up. I will let you know kind of the things to do, how to cheapen things out because Tulum is very expensive. It is a very expensive place. I mean, your American dollar goes a lot further than my Canadian dollar. But if you just know the local places to go and you take the local transport, which is called the Collectivo, it will get you anywhere you want to go for like next to nothing. And then you have to negotiate with the cab drivers because they will try to gouge you. They also don't love Americans. The moment I would say I was Canadian, they would be nicer to me.
Oh wow. Oh
True
wow.
story. My daughter will tell you. They'd be like something American. I'd be like, I'm not American. I'm Canadian. And the price would actually change.
Oh, five
Just a
dollars.
heads up.
American, $5.
You're not American? Great. So, but yeah, let's get into the show. Before all of that, twins, how has your week been?
Well, work has been busy. Let's just say that I've been getting it in at work. Work been busy this week, but outside of work, life been good. No complaints at all.
I love that. Am I darker, Mr. Mister? I don't know. You tell me. I feel like I probably am. I spent one full day basically in the sun on the beach, and then we were at the cenote the following day. So I definitely would be darker, and I probably need some sun. Lord knows. I have been staying inside. I'm an inside person in the winter, so I will take all the sun I can get. You think I look darker?
Golden, you know.
Love that. I'm gonna take golden. We're gonna take golden,
Little too
okay?
sweet. You know what I'm saying?
Because I was living my life like it's golden. But yes, again, Tulum is great. Hit me up, fyftheshow@gmail.com. If you have questions. I feel like I like know everything, which I don't, but I will give you everything that I know. But let's get into the show because I do not want to keep neither twins or Mr. Mister up, but I want to give the people the knowledge that you gentlemen who will be joining us have. So we're going to talk relationships, and we're going to talk relationships from a man's perspective. And I think next week I will talk relationship from a woman's perspective. And I
Okay.
have some questions, maybe some do's and don'ts. I think that gentlemen, you gentlemen can probably give to the ladies. And so I'm going to ask some questions, of course, give my insight, but really tonight is about the fellas. So fellas, thank you for those who are showing up live and thank you for those who will watch the replay because I really want your input on this. So let's talk relationships. I am curious to know from a male perspective, what are things that women do to make you want to be in a relationship with them or not want to be in a relationship with them? Same question, different outcome. So, what do women do that make you want to be in a relationship with them, and then on the other end, not want to be in a relationship? And go.
And go. Here we go. Thursday night turn up. So the things that let's see that makes me want to be in a relationship.
Yes. So when you meet a young lady, like what are those things that you go, this is a woman that I can settle down with?
And of course, we gotta get past the looks and everything else. That's for
Yes,
me that matters. So right now we're past the looks. Short.
correct,
We had the communication part now. Get to know a deep dive. So
correct.
being able to hold a conversation is one, right? Being able to hold a conversation is good.
Okay,
Um,
okay. Write this down. we make we make notes.
right, right. So being able to have a good and because we at this big age in the 40s, what I'm saying, we can't be talking about kitty stuff. So the conversation could be key. But build future building, it could be wealth, could be business, just things that that we would like to do. You know,
But
work.
does she have the ability to do that? Like what? Like when you say future building, does she need to be at a certain level herself, or you just see the capacity in her for you to build a future with her?
Meaning that's something that we can do together as a couple,
Okay.
right? I'm not, once again, we're past some of the basic stuff. So we're having this conversation. We're actually being more intentional now. We're past the, your age, your favorite color, that little dumb shit. We're getting a little, we're getting to the meat and potatoes now. We're getting down and dirty, right? And I'm having a conversation to see if somebody is temporary. It's somebody here for a short time or a long time. So once again, uh, very intellectual conversation. I'm not saying it'll be all the
Mhm.
greatest, but it's just life. You know what I'm saying? If you have kids, or well, if you're talking to me, our kids need to be either aligned or whatnot. But to see where your mind's at. If you still trying to go
Okay.
to the street and go to the club, mean you're not going to work out, right?
Okay.
Um, and also be in peace. There's a lot going on in this world now. I don't need to be dealing with someone whose life is chaotic. If I'm talking to
Woo.
you telling me this guy over here, your ex, your baby daddy, you know what I mean, all this bullshit. Some shit I don't feel like dealing with. And actually, at this point, I don't have to deal with it. That's enough to do. Some things I just won't deal with. So I would say I'm more colder in a sense, or more. I don't entertain as much as I would if I was younger. Now I'm like, no, I'm not done with it. So on to the next.
On to the next. On to the next.
Um, yeah, just a few things. Now, what things I
Okay.
go ahead.
Hold on. I'm going to pause on that because Mr. is also chiming in. So, ladies, you just heard what twins is, and one of our frequent viewers, very opinionated, he's also chiming in. So, ladies, I want you to hear this. So, Mr. is saying, take initiative on things. Mr., if you could elaborate for the ladies watching what that means. Take initiative on big things, little things, or just take initiative overall. Other things he's saying, be feminine, show she cares, and overall be helpful. We need a co pilot, not another passenger. And he's chiming in and agreeing with twins that being peaceful is major. I'm going to keep that one up for a second because that is one I hear all of the time about being peaceful. What does a peaceful woman look like to you?
Not combative. Every time we have a conversation, I shouldn't have to fight with you every day. I'm going to work all day. I'm dealing with people at work that I don't like or I do like. Business stuff like that. I got to deal with that. I don't want to have a conversation with my woman and we're going back and forth. It's just I don't have the energy no more. That's not peaceful. If having a conversation with you is going to be turn to an argument, I will not talk to you at all. It's just that simple. Because once again, I don't have to talk to you. I could find someone else. Or
Mm,
and also, yeah, at this big age I'm at, I'm okay with being alone.
that part,
You know,
that
so
whole part.
you know, all that being said, yeah, this is just twin speaking. Mr. might be different. I'm not speaking for all men. I'm speaking for me for sure. But I'm trying to be as candid as possible that I can be.
Ladies, that's a big one, and I'm going to keep that peaceful one up there just for a second because I think what we some of the narratives that I'm hearing on the internet, again, this week is about the men, and ladies show up for next week because I'm going to talk to the men about us as women and some of the things that, do's and don'ts for us in dating and relationships. But I think one of the things that I think as women we do skip over is this idea that men are comfortable being single because there's this whole narrative about, if a man's good looking and successful and at a certain age and single, what's wrong with him? And I don't think that we necessarily think about the issue may not be him, it's that he actually wants to keep his life peaceful and he's not willing to deal with the nonsense that he's finding out there in the dating pool from us women. And so he just rather just do his thing, get see a woman when he wants to, but not deal with the nonsense because that's what's keeping him successful in all of those things because he's not dealing with our emotional crap and drama. So I'm actually going to just, Mr. Mistress answered a question. He says, for example, my girlfriend would see things I had to do that day, and she would take initiative to take something off my plate and do something to make it easier. So that's in response to Mr. Mistress saying that he wants a woman, to take initiative. That is a do for him with respect to getting in a relationship. He further continues to say, one example, we were invited to a party while I was in the shower. She ironed my shirt for me so I could put it on immediately after showering.
And that's a
Yep,
prime
and then it's so simple.
Yeah, and that's a prime example of making each other's lives easy, right?
You men are so simple, and I think that that's what ladies really need to hear. It's not as complicated as we sometimes make it, because that's the no-brainer for me. I used to pick out my ex's clothes, steam it, iron it, whatever was necessary. It would be on the bed for him, especially if he was coming, if we had to do something immediately after work, like the show. When I was doing the show with my ex, I knew that he had worked a long day. So by the time he came home, I said, okay, what do you think you want to wear? And I would have it on the bed ready to go, or he'd come home, pick it, and I would take care of it while he was in the shower. To me, that's a no-brainer, right? Like that's not something that we should even be like. It's not even a thought in my mind to think, let me do that. But are you then finding that that's for a lot of women? That's like, what the hell?
Right. I mean, just to kind of piggyback what he was saying there too. Like, for example, I get up every morning at 2 o'clock, and sometimes I don't get home until 5 o'clock, or one day I get home around 10 o'clock. Right. So I'm exhausted, right? But like asking me what I want to eat, I don't give a fuck what I eat. You know what I'm saying? Just I had a long ass day, right? So I don't feel like even having the mental power to try to think of what I want to eat. Just have whatever. I don't care. Is it peanut butter and jelly sandwich? This is something that's already there. I can just eat and go to sleep and call it a day.
Just those thoughtful moments to know, hey, my man's gonna come home. He's going to be hungry. I don't need to bother him. Just make him something to eat. Right? Like just do those things. I, I respect it. Okay.
And
Anything else, gentlemen?
of course, and with the add to that same last thing you just said, if me and this person been talking for a while, you kind of know what I like and I don't like.
That part. That
So,
part.
so I really don't have to kind of tell you which one to eat. Food, which one to eat? Food. Well,
Just give me something to eat.
go ahead.
I love it, and I think I wanted to have this discussion because again, I was just kind of away in Tulum, and of course, you have time to relax and seeing all these conversations, good and bad, happening on the internet about black relationships and black love and all these different things. And I said, let's really simplify it for the ladies. Like, let's make it as simple as possible for those of us in our big age who want to be in a relationship. What are the things that men look at and say, listen, this is the type of woman I could spend my life with? Mr. is also saying a lot of women nowadays would look at that and say, I ain't your mama. I ain't doing none of that. I'm confused about that.
And that's why the women who be saying that right there, that statement, will be the same ones who are either don't have a ring or alone. So how's that working out for you, right? How's that working out for you? How did that work out for your mom? I'm just saying, like you say, you say stupid, ignorant stuff like that with no substance behind it. All I'm saying is, how does that make sense? You're not my mother. Of course, once again, as I say last week, I'm not ever trying to fuck my mom. So why you keeping my mom? Like, that sounds child. Matter of fact, if a woman said to me and her ain't gonna talk no more. The fact that you can utter those words out your mouth, not your mother. I'm not your father, right? But anyway, I'll land my plane.
No, and land it there because I'm gonna pick that up because our fathers are our first providers and protectors, and we want that in a man.
See, when I said that, I'm not your father. See, a lot of women don't have their fathers in their life, so they wouldn't know. You know what I mean? So technically, I was kind of like a shot. Like, well, I'm not your father.
It was a shade, and I mean, I'm a daddy.
You know what I mean? I'm not your father.
I mean, I'm my daddy, and I'm a daddy's girl, so I know.
They're like, well, I don't
Sorry,
know.
ladies.
I'm like, well, I see why.
Oh,
If you act anything like your mom, I can see why. You know what I'm saying? And then the fight started. Listen, we can be petty too if we want to, right? We can't be petty if we want to. But sometimes we don't have the mental energy. I'm only being petty now because we're having a conversation online, but really, I don't be doing that because I don't have the energy.
yeah, I love that. You listen, King's Cash Court. I love the big words that you're using, the university master's degree words, but are simplified for our audience. But I digress. Okay, so we've talked about the things that women can do. What happens when you meet a woman that makes you say immediately, yeah, this is not a woman that I see long term with? Is there something that just is right there that you're like, this is not long term?
Drama, chaotic, bad with finances. And of course, I mean, shit, we wouldn't get that far. Multiple kids, whatever. Some things, you know, it would- it wouldn't come across my table because during the vetting process, yeah, I mean, we wouldn't even make it to that part. I wouldn't even get your number if I see things that are already red flag.
That's big right there. Mr. Mrs. said disrespectful. Are
I,
women being disrespectful off rip, as would be said, the kids say, off rip, right? Are women just being disrespectful just out the gate?
so, um, they won't be disrespectful directly with you or me or whatever directly, but how they interact with other people lets me know
Got you.
the kind of person that they are. So if they're
Got
at
you.
work and they're talking crazy to the boss because X, Y, Z, that just shows me the kind of person that you are. So
Okay. King's Cash Court says drama, lack of accountability, bad hygiene, lack of respect and manners. How quickly do those traits show up though? For like women you've dated when you're just like, is it like, again, is it something that over time these things are coming up, or is it something that you almost see immediately?
if it's something I see right away, then this is no go. But people like to put a good acting. One thing I learned in this dating world that men and women, we both are some great actors. What they say, you usually see your representative at first, right?
Yep, that's what they say.
That's what they say. Your representative. So after a while, I mean, usually hygiene usually plays a fact when you eventually actually go over to the girl's house the first time. And when I go to the
Mm.
girl's house the first place I go. Now I don't run straight to this place, but I go to their bathroom. The
Go to their bathroom and look at their toilet.
their bathroom tells me everything about the lady, from the sink, all the shit on the sink, whatever, to the toilet, to the shower, all of that. I can look at that and see the type of person that you are. And yes, I'm judging you based off your bathroom.
You should judge. You should judge. I'm Jamaican. I judge everybody. I judge them from the kitchen. I judge them for the bathroom. I judge people who walk around with shoes in their house. Judge, judge, judge Judy. Like, please judge away. It's dusty. But I
Also,
digress.
also too, I judge by the smell. Ain't nothing like walking
Oh,
to a woman's house and the house smells so good. I love that.
candles burning.
Candles, the little airwick
Yeah,
things in the outlet. Oh,
yeah.
I love it. I love our woman's house because y'all house smell good. And then when y'all come into my house, y'all make the house smell good too. I come home like, man, the house smell good. You put that woman touch on it. If I come to your house and smell like a gym, oh, it's a problem.
I got nothing. I just got off a flight. I got nothing. Mr. says, if a woman can't tell me how she improves my life by being with her instead of someone else. All right. Mr. said he just reminded me of that Eddie Murphy movie, Daddy Daycare, when he went to the house and looked all over the walls and the ceiling. Don't kill me. I listen. I judge too. Man, woman, everything in between. Like I know what I want, and that's all. Is like your home is your serenity. Like your home is your peace. And if your home is chaotic, it tells me your life is chaotic because I can't actually do anything. Like I meditate in the morning, I write, like I do all this thing. And if I've got clothes all over my bed and dishes all up in my sink, and I wake up in the morning and that's like it just seems like I live a chaotic life, and I wouldn't want a man that does that. So I get that. Your house is a representative, I think, of who you are as a person and the stuff that's going on with your life. So I completely get that. Anything else that you think? And again, this is just to get to the from the talking to the girlfriend stage. We got to get to engage and get to marriage. But let's finish it like to the girlfriend stage. And anything that makes you be like, no, mm-mm. She's not even passing that first level.
Whew. This is the girlfriend stage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, for me, I mean, it's just the nurturing, the cooking. You know, it just once again, it just really just making my life easier.
Ooh, you
That's
just simplified that.
it. Really is. It really is. And I'm speaking from a male who's in my 40s, right? The 20-year-old me, that stuff I didn't look for or care for because I didn't know, right?
Yeah.
As you get older and you go through life, you just want peace. You just want peace. This world, well, leaving out the house is a task by itself.
Mm-hmm.
After coming home, like you said earlier, your home should be your place of freedom, place of peace, place of relaxation. It shouldn't be come home and now you have another battle. You don't spend
Amen.
8 hours working and probably 2 hours travel back and forth. You understand what I'm saying? So you've been
Yeah.
gone. You didn't want to come home and got to deal with, yeah, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, you didn't take this out. What you want to eat? Like, I don't want to have to think about that. I want to come home and just be peace. Peace. That's it.
I love that. I love that. You made that simple. Okay. So now, gentlemen, you've moved her from the talking stage to the girlfriend stage. Now you're in it. What gets her promoted to meet me at the altar in your white dress? What gets her promoted to fiance?
Consistency of everything that made you the girlfriend. Let me say that again. Consistency with everything that you did as a girlfriend. That's what will now lead you to be the wife. So now that we're official, we're doing X, Y, Z. You can't fall off from doing things because now I gal now, so now I don't gotta do X, Y, Z. Because that's gonna play a role if we move forward now. Because mind you, you talking to a man who's been married and divorced, so I know what it looks like for somebody at first
You sure do.
jump everybody's energy, everything's good, and then after it's time to fall off. I see it. I bit my tongue then. I'm not bite my tongue now. So if I see stuff moving the wrong way, I'm gonna fall back. It's consistency for me.
You know what, Mister.
He said a miracle.
I'm done with you for the night. I think that was simple. King's Cash Court, if you're still out there watching, I'd love to get you, Jack and Jeff. I don't know if you're out there watching as well, because I know Jeff being married, I would love to have his take, because he's done this twice. And I think, doing it once as a man is a lot, then you do it twice. Like, I'd love to hear, Jeff, if you're out there, your thoughts on that in King's Cash Court. But I love that because it's simple. Because I think too many times relationships do become inconsistent, right? You go into something and that person is your peace and your solace and all those things, and all of a sudden now they're your source of anxiety, your source of pain. You know what I'm saying? Like your source of turmoil. And there, as women, we're wondering, oh, why aren't we making it to the next level? But we're not realizing that our behavior over a period of time has changed. And I'm not talking about, listen, when ladies, when we're on that time of the month, I get it. That issues. I think we all become monsters, and I think men start to realize that. Oh, well, time of the month. I know I'm going to get a little bit more attitude than I normally get, or whatever it is that it might be. But if you're like that 365 days per year, and a man's like, I fell in love with this amazing, sweet, nurturing woman who was ironing my shirts and making sure that I was good, and all of a sudden you become that entitled, disrespectful. I wouldn't elevate you because you wouldn't get promoted. You wouldn't, and I think, we've talked about this over the last couple of weeks, Twins, you and I, in terms of like viewing relationships, every stage of the relationship as if it's a job promotion, right? It is when you to get to the girlfriend, you had to apply, you had to go through the vetting process. As the gentlemen were dating you, they were figuring out, oh, does she fit into my life? So you become the girlfriend. The next promotion is to be a fiance. He's taking a look at that. It's the same when your job evaluates you, right? Like, if I want a promotion at my job, I have to show up and show that I can already do the job before they promote me. They don't promote me to the job and say, let's let her figure out if she can do the job. You already proved that you can do the job that they're going to promote you to. That's why they give you the promotion and the raise that goes with it. This is like a promotion isn't, let's put her in the job for 6 months and let's figure out if she can do it. No, you've likely been doing the job for a year or so before that. And they said, listen, she's shown everything that she needs to show. We're definitely going to give her that promotion and that job, that raise, because she's been consistent. That's how you elevate in a job. So what I'm hearing you gentlemen say is that's how you also elevate in a relationship, to go from, because to me, my biggest flex is to be a wife. I'm telling you right now, I miss being a wife. There's nothing better than me that let me go ask my husband. Oh, I'm gonna talk to my husband. Oh, what do you mean, my husband? Traveling. Oh, come on, honey. Oh, yeah, that's my husband. Listen, it is my biggest flex when it's like my husband. Forget my man, my man, my man. It's my husband. Oh, I need to check with my husband. Oh, me and my husband are so excited that you'll be there. It's all about my husband. So that's my biggest promotion. That's my biggest flex. So the same way, to me, I put in work to get promoted at my corporate job, I should be doing that for the men who one day may have to wipe my ass when I get older. I'm just saying,
Through
we get old.
sickness and through health.
Okay, I'm just
Okay,
saying.
those words.
Mr. Mitchell's got a good point here, because we're going to get to the marriage stage. Mr. Mitchell says, I'm simply not convinced women take the marriage vow seriously anymore. For richer, poorer, in sickness, health, love, honor, obey till death do us part. You know what I've actually been seeing, and I have to tell you that it irritates me. Women have actually been changing that part of the wedding vow. Instead of richer for poorer, I've seen some women in life say for richer, which
Or they get or they'll get real quiet at that part.
not
Like,
real quiet.
yeah, for rich or poor, they'll get real quiet and then say the other stuff. Like, I look at that as disrespectful.
Super
Like,
disrespectful.
you know what? Stop
Super
right now.
disrespectful.
You know what? Everybody, thanks for coming out. Y'all can go home. Yeah, I'm not doing this.
Super disrespectful. As a woman, I don't even understand how men sit there and find that, but stand there beside this woman and find any of this funny. While people are like, cat, 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 as a man, I'd be like, exactly what you did, cut, we're done. You know what? I am the person who objects. I object to this bullshit. Listen, we're done here
But
because
also,
it's. Go
also
ahead, Twin.
let's say when it comes to a situation like that,
It's
that's
crazy.
not the first time that's like that has happened, right? That's the first time. So the fact that you
You
see
ain't wrong.
it happen and then you still move forward, like those are red. That's a true definition of a red flag. And if you keep going with that, whatever happens afterward, that's really on you. Because now we're at the biggest stage of the relationship, and you're at the promotion part in front of the whole world, saying this will be my future wife, and this serious commitment we're into each other. You want to either be quiet, say your own words, and think it's all funny. And I get it because it's in the spot, heat of the moment right now, and everybody, oh, don't take it, it ain't that serious. No, it is
It's
serious.
serious.
It is
It's
serious.
serious.
And,
Yeah.
and I think that's the thing that most men, include myself, we all need to stand on business on that. When something's that serious, which it is, we're making a commitment to God, to you, for us, to life, through sickness and health, to death, do us apart. If you utter some dumb shit like that, I'm right there. I'm high five you, brother. If she did that, stop it right there and say, "Know what? We're not gonna move forward. Thank y'all. Yeah, have a good evening. I'm out." Because it ain't worth it. Just ain't worth it. I'm done.
I love that. Mr. and Mrs. said, my own sister got to that part on the altar and loudly said, for poor question mark, exclamation mark. I think that's just, I would be embarrassed. I think it's embarrassing. Like, I think it's an embarrassing thing to do. And there's nothing like, honor thy husband. When you leave your parents' home, right? Like, it's to cleave to your husband, it's cleaving to your wife, it's honor and respecting that person. So for me, on the biggest day of your life together, which is the day you stand there in front of families, friends, and coworkers and everybody else and take those vows, to have that kind of moment, I don't even think like nobody's that funny. Like Eddie Murphy couldn't make that shit work. Okay, Kevin Hart, like anybody couldn't make that shit work. Like it's awful because I'm fully disrespecting you in front of everybody else. Like I just don't think that's funny. Let's hear what Chuck Spade is saying. Sorry, Jack, I just got off a flight. Did someone? Yes, no, 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 Jack, what happened? I should have read that before I put up. What happened was I got off of the flight and walked in here at 9:23 and had to get myself together to do this show. So by the hook or the crook, I make sure this happens. So I'm actually sitting in a different place and my tripod broke while I was in Tulum. But either way, we move on, we carry on. But I think that that's key, and I think as ladies we need to understand how the slightest things that we can do can be disrespectful, even if we think it's ha ha funny. And I think I want ladies to really take in what these gentlemen are saying because at the end of the day, I'm not trying to date another woman, right? Like if that's the position that you're in when you want to date another woman, that's great, right? Like if that's what your thing is, cool. But if you want to be with a man, to get married to a man, you need to stop listening to what women are saying about what men want and listen to what men are saying about what they want. And this is why this conversation for me was important for me to simply ask questions and listen to the men and then repeat it back to you women so you get it from a woman. Like men are saying that these are the things that they value for you to get elevated and promoted because it is a promotion to the next level. Okay, so she's gotten the ring because I've had a couple of rings myself. Just because just because we're engaged. I'm
Don't be ever collecting rings like J Lo.
over here like no, I ain't trying to collect them. I try to hold on to like. Anyways, we digress. Not about me today. So not about me today. Um, so she gets to the fiance stage. What says? Don't kill me. Hello. Oh, we've got somebody new, Jason Washington. Hello. Um, what makes her make it to the wife? Because there is a time between fiance and wife that she can potentially lose the title. So what makes you definitely say? Because again, I know twins, you've been married. I don't know if you had the whole cold feet situation. Because at any point, listen, we've heard stories where women didn't sign prenups, things happen, and men were like, "Yeah, I'm good, I'm out. Like, we're not getting married." What makes you stand there in front of God, family, friends, and say, "I do" to this woman, and start thinking about your future as Mrs. with this Mr. and Mrs. What gets you there?
What gets you there? One, you have to be intentional. You have to be as the guy, right? You know, because at the end of the day, it's up to you. You have to be mentally ready to be a husband, right? You,
Mm,
I mean,
mm.
we're the ones who propose to the woman, right? Women don't put. I mean, they doing it now, but it ain't the same. At the end of the day, a woman can't marry me. I marry her. So I chose this woman, right? So when I chose this woman to be first the girlfriend, right?
Okay.
Then levels. It just after time and things. You put time in and you see that okay, she's for real. She's doing X Y Z, whatever X Y
Okay.
Z is, because it's not exactly a roadmap. It really depends what you need in your life. She comes in your life and makes life easier for you, and y'all gelling, and you have great communication. You have good future plans. Communication is key. We talked about last season.
Agreed.
So that's number one. And as things keep going, and life is great for you. Work you working, and but she makes everything easy for you. You have a future with her. Y'all have great communication. You have great. You, I say this before you get married. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
And I don't know how to say this, but you want to have an argument. I'm not saying intentionally
I
have.
agree.
I'm not saying intentionally have one, but if you're dating
I
somebody for
agree.
a period of time, it's going to happen. When you have two individuals come together, you're going to have a. I don't care if it's if you're in the same house, y'all live together, you're going to argue about something, okay? But seeing how you handle an disagreement is going to let you know how far the relationship's going to go.
Love that.
Because when people get mad, their true colors will come out.
Amen.
Mr. says earlier, disrespect that will be tested, and you know how she handle it and how he handle it. Mainly how she handles it, because he's the one going to eventually say, you know what, I still want to marry you. That's going to be a big thing, because once that ring goes onto that finger, I got you. She got you. You're locked in. I don't care what I say. You're locked in. It's over at that point. But once you eventually see how that argument happens and how y'all talk through it, maybe not that moment you can talk through it, but maybe afterwards when you're both level headed, you can talk through it and like, hey, here's what happened. I don't like how that happened. Can we do X, Y, Z? If this happened again, I may say this word, safe word where it's getting too hot, but we need to step away from each other before we do X, Y, Z. Like those things matter. So
Yeah. Yeah.
all that.
I love that. And love that. And welcome, Jason Washington, to the show. Thank you for joining us. I see you piping in, so I'm going to put some of these comments up. So Jason says most men will judge how she's acting to plan the wedding and her behavior headed towards the wedding. So, ladies, what they're saying is that cute bridezilla thing that we think is so cute. It's not cute for men. Go on, twins.
Yes, that Jason, Mr. Washington, you hitting on top of the nail. You will see what type of woman you have when the wedding goes in. 'Cause I'm telling you right now, she's gonna cut off some friends. She's gonna make new friends. It's gonna be crazy. You just at that time you want to sit back and watch and pay attention and see how she navigates through all those things. That this is your time. This is your cheat code. And don't let people just say, "Oh, it's normal. It's bridezilla." No. People show you who they really are. And this is who she really is when she wants her way. People become very selfish when certain things. So yes, pay attention to that. Go ahead. You going.
Mm. Jack Spade said, I told my ex-wife's female family members whenever wanted to get Bridezilla, you pay 50% into this wedding, you have 50% say. Pay 100%, 100% say. Of course, no one pitched one red cent. Jason also said, lots of women get engaged, but they scare the men because she gets crazy planning and stressing about the wedding. He also continued to say, my papa, oh, I love that. My papa said, take a 1 month road trip before you marry a woman. You need to see how well you work together and how she is as a partner during the road trip. Listen, Jason, your papa is right because I've already said on the show, I think I said it maybe last week on the show, why I said traveling with a partner tells you a lot about them. And not just traveling on a plane. You have to travel on a plane and you have to do a road trip. You'll see how well you work together because you're navigating all of those different things. If you could take an 8 hour car ride together, going to someplace new, how do you communicate? Like, how do you connect? When she gets irritated or you get hungry, like all of those things are so valuable insight into get into a relationship. And I think sometimes we skip over those things, right? And I agree with you, Twins. That first argument will tell you how much I don't personally like to argue. So some people might think I dislike. It's just because my piece is so important. Sometimes I'll just be like, I'm going to let you have that one. Because to me, what we're talking about is not important enough to disrupt my peace. But if I started going ha 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 and everything was combative, going back to that word, right? Nobody wants to deal with a person that's combative because it's disrupting to their peace. There's some more. Oh, Jason is from Berlin. Oh my goodness! Thank you, thank you for joining us from Berlin. That is amazing. Mr. said, if she can argue without raising her voice, talking over you, and insulting you, she has potential.
Yes.
Ladies, ladies,
Yes.
take it in. Go on.
Lead up for a second. Yes. Yes. I'm just gonna say yes. Read it right there. Read it. Read it. Fellas, pay attention.
All right. Jack faces she got me, but I got uncontested divorce laws to exercise if needed on my side. I'm done. Jason says no GPS in the car either. It's funny. My ex and I actually took a trip all the way from Rochester, New York to North Carolina. And we got to North Carolina before he put the GPS on him. It's because he wasn't quite sure exactly where we were staying, and it was like maybe the last 10 minutes of the trip, and then he drove all the way from North Carolina to Queens, New York, with no GPS. I thought it was the most incredible thing I had ever seen because sometimes I need GPS to go down the street, but we digress. Jason said he's from Langston, Oklahoma, but has lived there for 10 years. I love that, Jason. I just came from Tulum and I am ready to go back and move out of Toronto, Canada, where I live because I'm over North America, but we digress. And Mr. agreed. He said road trips are clutch. Road trips are absolutely clutch. Like I'm a big fan of taking a road trip, and if you can't drive, maybe take a bus trip or a train trip or just something where, because a plane generally is up in the air, and for most of us within 4 or 5 hours, it's you're out. But something where like really you can get on each other's nerve, and on a road trip you can definitely get on each other's nerve. See how you work together. So now you've told me how she makes it to the wife. Like, is there anything during that engagement stage that will make you go, oh shit, I fucked up? Like, ah, shit,
What?
shouldn't have asked this woman to marry her. Is
Oh,
there anything that would make you go, ah, shit, and call off the wedding?
I, haven't had the experience, so I couldn't tell you. I wouldn't even got to the marriage stage if in that scenario we
Yeah.
wouldn't got to that point. So I don't know.
Gentlemen in the chat, is there anything that you could foresee happening where you propose to a woman? And to Jason's point earlier, it could even just watching how she's navigating planning the wedding, right? Like that might be a moment of oh crap, because you said something, twins, about that. It brings out a level of selfishness in us as women. It really does. Um, because if we start saying things like my day, right? But it's my day. And so on my day, I should have this, as opposed to saying it's our day. Like it's about us and what do we want and who should be invited. Are we inviting exes? Like, like what kind of cake do we want? How, like all of those different things, you start seeing the innate selfishness that might be in a woman that you think, listen, I didn't see this before, but oh my God, I can't live with this because she's turning this into something about her when this is supposed to be an our union.
So with that scenario, which makes sense, that's when you can have the conversation about her actions, right? And based on her actions, that may be a way for you to know that, you know what, I might want to pump the brakes here. Because
Hmm.
a lot of people, and just people, period, do not take constructive criticism very well. You know what I'm saying? And if
True,
so,
true,
if you're giving your woman that feedback, and now y'all arguing over it, this may not work out
true.
because I should be able to have a conversation with you about X, Y, Z. You should be able to have a conversation about me, whatever. And it's not about tearing me down. It's just, hey, listen, we're about to be married. We're about to be one. The way you represent yourself is how we look.
Mm,
So if you are acting a fool, it's not that Megan acting crazy out there. No, that's Dwayne's woman, Megan. So the Harringtons out there looking crazy. You understand what I'm saying?
mm, mm.
Just saying. Go ahead.
Ladies, listen up. That is a good one. And I, of course, put up what Jason had to say. He said many men see the woman doesn't care at all about his options on the wedding day. Ladies, it's not just our day. It's not just our day, as in my mind as a woman. It is the union. It is about what you both want, and really those conversations I think should be had even prior to getting engaged, right? Like, are there deal breakers? For instance, like I used to date one guy who thought it was a deal breaker if I invited an ex to our wedding. And I didn't think it was a deal breaker. I thought he said, me inviting my daughter's father was a deal breaker for him, and I'm thinking like, okay, you're marrying her mom, and that's her dad. And I'm not saying that he might come. He probably would, because his daughter would be standing in her mother's wedding. But for him, that was a deal breaker. So for me, understanding that, knowing that, like, I was like, I'm not sure, because you're looking at a relationship from 20 something years ago and making it an issue today. Now, my most recent ex, oh no, that he ain't coming. He's not going to be invited. But my daughter's father, to me, that was like a no brainer. Like, I would think, if somebody has a child with a woman, like, absolutely invite her, because her children, we're all going to be family in many ways. I don't care how old the children are. There's weddings, there's grandchildren, there's all those different things. So those conversations, I think, you should be having leading up to the engagement. And I see the time, and twins gets up super early, so I'm gonna wrap this up shortly by reading some of these comments. Jason also says, seeing her princess mentality come in planning for the wedding. I won't lie, I'm a bit of a princess. So Jack Space said, my ex-wife was too scary ass to travel with no GPS. Mr. Mrs. saying, funny you say that, because I thought about taking a road trip without a GPS. I absolutely could do it because that's my job. Get a map. Listen, my very first cross country road trip I drove from Toronto to Detroit, Michigan, was me using MapQuest and actually like printing. Remember that, going to MapQuest and like printing off the direction. And guess what? You were screwed if you missed your turn or your thing, because that's all you had. Like I had
These
MapQuest
kids,
and go to Detroit.
these kids will never understand the struggle of using MapQuest. You're driving your car and you look it down. You like, and mind you, you have to guesstimate. Okay, this should be 300 miles. So
Yeah.
your dad's like, all right, 300 miles, and all right, I'm getting close to it. And then, like you said,
Yep.
God forbid they're doing some
Yep.
construction work and the exit was down. Oh my goodness. I never had that problem, but I know what
You
you had to do.
screwed.
You did run that problem. You had to go to a gas station and hopefully the person
Yep.
can direct you to a back way, whatever, get back on route because that was it. But yes, I
And
traveled
then you have to write that down. Right now, you have to write it cut down, or because you didn't have a cell phone. Because and again, you have to write it down. So you have to say turn here. So you're writing all of that down to make sure you can get back on the highway.
Listen, I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So my first MapQuest travel was from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to Buffalo, New York. And then as I got close to whatever, something changed. And the girl on the phone tell me, and she's like, all right, it's about 3 stop signs. And then you got to make a right here at this light. You will see this. Start naming all these monument buildings and stuff. But I got there though.
I had my ex on the phone too at this certain point because he was calling. He's like, "Babe, you good?" I was like, "Yeah." I felt like he's like, "Okay, we're good, we're good." Because I was like you said, these kids will never know, and I think it is a testament to a relationship if you can actually get to a place without a GPS. I look forward to doing that with my dear future husband. Jason makes a good point. Going back to the relationship, also seeing her fighting with her own family members will be a red flag. Now, that is an interesting one, Jason, because I think is it about her calling out her family members their name? Because again, Jamaicans have a saying, teeth and tongue will meet, right? Like you're going to argue with people, especially family. You generally argue with the people that are closest to you. But is it seeing her being disrespectful, like to a parent or a sibling? Definitely a parent. If you're disrespectful, I won't even lie. If you're disrespectful to your parent, like for me, I'm immediately like, oh, like, and I get everybody's got different familial backgrounds, and some parents were not the greatest of parents. But even with that, I think there's still a parent-child thing. Like you might say, "Listen, mom," or "Listen, dad. You know what? You're being disrespectful. Whatever. I'm just not going to deal with you right now. Like let's end the conversation." But if you start ninjaing and being and stuff to your mom or dad, if I can't talk to you because I love my daddy and my mom. Like especially my daddy. Like, nah, I don't play about that.
Right. So also to add to everything you just said, if the woman or guy, whatever, is being disrespectful to their own family, what do you think is going to happen when y'all have a disagreement?
We move on.
Just take that.
Um,
Just so you know, if she can't respect her own blood family, what do you think she's going to do with you? Vice versa.
and we move on. Mr. Visser says, I constantly observe how she treats people when she's upset because it foreshadows how she'll treat me when she gets upset.
Message.
If she's incorrigible, she gotta go. We don't need no hard-headed. Y'all can read. Interesting. So Jason agrees with my friend. He says it's unnecessary to have your child's father attend the wedding. And I am going to wholeheartedly disagree. I think it is important to show family unity. I believe in community. I'm a community person. And just like it is very likely that or maybe not, maybe my future husband will have no children, never know. But assuming my future husband has a child or children, there's a woman that's attached to that. And I would have no issues with that woman attending because her child is about to be a part of the union, right? Because I'm going to have a whole ceremony, adult children or not, where we all put sand in and like there's different color sand and it's showing like the family coming together. I'm Jamaican. We believe in community and all that stuff. So for me, inviting my daughter's father is a no brainer. Now, inviting an ex that I don't have a child with, inviting my ex-husband, not about to do that, but inviting my daughter's father, and she's gonna be standing beside me at my wedding. Like, for me, I wouldn't marry a man who was so opposed to it that it became like a bone of contention. But that's just me. Jack Spade said, I gave a soft proposal to a woman like 6 years after my divorce. And when I mentioned running our debt and finances through a financial counselor, and she got dropped her 3 weeks later.
Dodge the bullet.
Yes, and I did date myself. I did date my well. The twins and I both dated ourselves. We talked about MapQuest. Listen, like listen. I'm 45 years old. I play no games. I tell everybody my age. MapQuest. I guess you're just close enough to get lost nearby. That is so true. That's what happened when I went.
Hey,
That's
mind
what
you,
happened.
let's just say the MapQuest journey was in my younger days, so it had nothing to do with dating.
I know exactly what it had to do
It
with
was
her.
really, exploring the world and what I'm saying, just getting out on the road and
I
traveling.
knew exactly what it had to do with her. You ain't got to tell me nothing.
Okay, Days was great. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the people, shout out to the shorty in Buffalo. We had fun. You know who you are.
Good night. Yes, and if my daughter's father is invited, of course he brings his significant other. Like my daughter's father has a significant other, and so it's him plus one. It's just not my daughter's father; it's him and his woman, his
So,
common law wife.
I want to speak to that scenario about bringing your ex, or that's your ex,
My daughter's father,
your
yeah, yeah.
daughter's dad. Right. That would be a conversation that y'all would have had prior to even like getting to the point of marriage. Like
Absolutely,
y'all would have hung out.
absolutely,
There would have been family functions that would have happened where that's something y'all would have ran across. So it would
absolutely.
it wouldn't have been a shocker. And then based off the conversation you had every year your daughter has her birthday, y'all go out as a family.
Yep, as a family. Yep.
So any guy that talks to you, if that was a problem, then the conversation should have stopped right then and there.
I don't even think about it. It's
Right,
not. It's
right.
nope.
So I'm saying that shouldn't be a problem if if the person is that much involved with the family, you would have met dude XYZ. This would not have been a last minute shocker to you. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly. And you make a good point. Like those are the things, those are the discussions that need to happen. So again, it's the women's next week, I'll talk about my stuff, but that is important. I spend my daughter's birthday every year, meet her and her dad. That is my daughter's request. She stopped wanting having birthday parties with large groups of people when she was 16. And she said, Mom, all I want for my birthday is for me, you, and daddy to have dinner or do whatever, an activity, whatever we do together, and that's fine. He's been with the same woman for a long time, and she knows it every year. Birthday, great. She knows what's happening, right? Like it's not a big deal for us because that's my daughter's father. Like it's the only child I have, and it is important for me to show her that despite me and her father not being together, we can get along, right? Like I hope that she gets married and her marriage lasts forever. But if my daughter has to be in a co-parenting situation, I want her to see the co-parenting situation that me and her father had developed, and she would do the same. I don't want my daughter to ever be that woman who's belligerent and all those things when it comes to co-parenting, right? She's seen what me and her dad have developed, and that's important because again, family and community is important. But if a man has been burned in the past and he's got some trauma around that, I'm probably not the woman to date because he's going to have to deal with that every single year. And then Mr. Mitchell, last comment before we get into our dating tips, because it's already 10:40. I said twins we would only do an hour, so I'm over. So Mr. says, remember what I said about debt. Jack Spade just confirmed that's a topic that needs more attention, and it absolutely does. And I know, Mr. Mitchell, you had actually sent me a great clip about that. Debt and finances is something that you need to talk about. And then this is my last question, gentlemen. I think Tunisia kind of answered this, but I asked you to answer it again. How quickly should this conversation be happening about debt and finances?
So I believe once you guys went from girlfriend, like, so you're okay. Once your girlfriend status, boyfriend girlfriend, right? Both sides. Once you have a relationship, cool. Now, if you're going to the next step where you're thinking about making her your fiance, or that you want to marry her, that's when the conversation should happen. Or when y'all think, if not, then if you're planning to move in with each other. So you plan to move
Mm,
with each other, that's exactly when the conversation should happen about finances. Not after she moved in, before she moves in, or before he moves in. Both sides at that moment. Trust me. You don't want to you don't want to marry somebody and then and something happens where a car breaks down or something happens. No, you're married to somebody. You're gonna buy your first house, right? Everybody's all happy. You go run your credit. You got approved for $400,000. Whatever. And then she with her credit 250, and she can't.
Not just $50,000 worth of debt.
Like, you don't want to be in a situation where you're blindsided. Like, how do you go from being girlfriend, relationship, fiance, to husband or husband wife, and realize your wife or husband's credit score is poor? Like,
True.
how did y'all get that far? So no, when y'all want to move in with each other, finances. Because finances should be a breakdown. Okay, so we move in, here's our bills, we'll combine this, all that needs to be, that all our conversation need to be had. If there's a problem where you can't have a conversation, you might want to stop. Just that simple. Because when it comes to divorce, it ain't about cheating. Finances is probably the most reason why people
Yep.
are getting divorced. Ain't got nothing to do with cheating. Everybody think cheating is all he did is no. It's up there, but finances is the reason.
It's number one.
Number one reason why. And I'm very
Yeah.
candid with me, and finances was my situation in my marriage. So trust me, it ain't about cheating. Not that I said I cheated, though. I didn't cheat because black men don't cheat, but I didn't. But the point I'm trying to make is finances was the reason.
I'm done. And Mr. Last comment from Mr. Mister. As soon as we start involving expenditures of money on a regular basis, that's when that needs to happen. Sorry, Jack Spade. Actually, last comment from Jack Spade. I found out my ex-wife had jacked up credit at the car dealership. We were already married by 2 years and got that rude awakening. Pissed me the F off.
Message.
Jack, she said, fuck your feelings. See how I just put that together? And fuck your feelings. I'm going to fuck up this credit. But we move on. We are going to get to the dating tip of the week for our viewers. Mr. Mister, please get your dating tip ready. And it's ready. He's got it right there. I'm actually going to start with Mr. Mister's dating tip. Dating tip. Relationships are not luck. They are a series of daily habits you perform to maintain the health of the relationship. These habits will be mutually beneficial. And I'm assuming he says in the dot dot dot, and I'm assuming it's future. Um, and Jack Spade has no dating tip for tonight, but I love that. I'm going to repeat that dating tip. Oh, it's longer. I am going to continue. So again, relationships are not luck. They are a series of daily habits you perform to maintain the health of the relationship. These habits will be mutually beneficial in the short term and long term. It's up to the both of you to maintain them with each other. They're not dependent on how you feel at the time. Once they start depending on how you feel at the time, the relationship is over. You came and dropped the mic, sir. I got nothing. That's great. My dating tip is going to be short and sweet. Ladies, if you're trying to be with a man, you want to be married to a man, start listening to what men say that they want in the women that they end up in relationships. the internet and social media and your families are full of women with lots of advice. But are you actually listening to the advice that the men who you want are giving you about how you attract them to you? That's my dating tip. Twins.
All right, real quick. I saw a quick video online about women being a gold digger, and this lady broke it down so fluent, and she wasn't wrong. Women out there looking for stability, right? So, with that being said, with my dating tip, fellas, fellas, I guess we gotta be gold diggers too, because once you get into a serious relationship or marriage, whatever, you need to know what her finances look like. You gotta need to know what she got put in her savings for a rainy day. You know what I'm saying? On top of that, of course, have your shit together too, right? It goes both ways. But you don't want to be at the car dealership and realize your girl got a 250 credit score and you trying to get it, and she want to get a BMW. And then your monthly payments is $2,000 a month. I mean, this make it make sense. So once again, have that difficult conversation about finances. Trust me, it's gonna save you in the long haul. That's my dating tip.
I love it. It's been a great show. Thank you, everybody.
Bam.
Thank you. Thank you. You definitely dropped the mic. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for those who joined in. Thank you once again for Twins for holding it and waiting for me to get off the plane from Tulum and get into my house and be able to do the show. Join us next week where we will flip the script, where Twins will be asking me questions about women and relationships and so forth. Ladies, come on, join the conversation. Gentlemen, please come back. We appreciate you. Until next week, thank you and good night. Bye.
Peace.